be at this time in my life because I was born in a shitty country in the Middle East. And this was like a long time ago. And by the way, when I say I was born and raised in the Middle East, it's not like I was raised in Indiana. I mean, we had all the modern amenities that you guys have. We had, my father had a Cadillac, we had air conditioning, we had a VCR, we had a fridge. My mom had a dishwasher, her name was Miriam. That's everything you guys had. And we kind of lived like a normal, really childhood, but kind of got a little bit rough a little bit at the end. Like all the war started. And you can start to see like there was scarcity. Like you see like lines for people to get just basic things. And at one point the lines became like really, really too big. And it was just kind of a rule, like in the early 80s, if you see a line, you just stand in it. You don't ask the person in front of you or the person behind you, what's in this line, because they don't know what the fuck is going on either. And you would stand in line, and like 2-3 hours, you would end in front of a booth of some sort, and you would either end up with like a passport or a dozen of tomatoes. But you're taking it. It's better than what you had 3 hours ago. So it was very obvious for us that we had to leave. This is guys who can't live in this place. Freaking 12 tomatoes every 3 hours. So we started a whole bunch of we had to go through interviews with UNICEF and. We had to show our papers all the time to people, and I don't know why, nobody could read or write over there, they just wanted the papers. And so interviews and day after another, and then finally, like the day came, so you have to be at a certain place in 3 weeks. So we get all our shit, go to this place, then they herd us into this big like metal container, there were like seats, and we sat, and we all kind of had to be strapped into these seats. People were very rude to us, they gave us very little to eat. The journey took forever. And finally, when we made it to the United States and we were processed and we were released, I was thinking to myself, I'm never going to fly Delta again. That was the most horrible flight. Anyways, I had to. Anyways, I was in the United States. I was free. Well, nothing's free here, but like I felt free. But it was good, and I was ready to integrate with the culture. And I really, when over there, our only way of learning about the culture was through movies. Because I had the VCR, so I would watch all these movies to prepare me for that new culture, so the culture shock would not be as hard. But I think I watched the wrong movies. Because I really watched like mostly Porky's, Pretty in Pink, and Animal House. So when I was here, after like a few months of being here, I made some friends, and I would go to their house, and if I'm having dinner, like halfway through the dinner, I would grab some mashed potatoes and just fling it across the table, start a fun food fight. I would, try to get people to take on me, take me on. I would dance with a helmet, a safety dance. I would do my safety dance, round and round like a record. And it's working. I don't even trying to date. This was very hard. I had to use cheesy pickup lines from the 80s. Something like "You're once, twice, 3 times a lady," or I might not be a Flintstone, but I can sure make your bed rock. And they were bad pickup jokes, and really bad. They don't make a laugh, these. Anyways, I stayed. I pulled through, I stayed in the country, and I learned. And when you're an immigrant, you have to be like a social scientist, because you're trying to figure out how come people are reacting different to the way you are. And one of the things I've noticed, like in every part of the world, because I've traveled a lot to get here on Delta, every part of the world, they have this one group of people that they can pick on. Like for example, in the Middle East, it's usually the people that are less fortunate, they do not have the same opportunity we have. So the Bedouins or the farmers in Egypt or something like that, or even in Europe, the Polish, which have had very hard times in history. But in the United States, it's the opposite. It's actually the most affluent young professionals. These are the ones, usually a white guy, usually. These are the people that are picked on the most. And I really don't know why, because I think they're great. They have very good jobs, okay, they have good jobs, but they did have to go to school, their parents paid for it. They definitely pop enough pills to deal with these fucking jobs. I think they're the only people on the planet that ride a bike because they want to, not because they have to. They drink Pabst Blue Ribbon, so we don't have to. And a lot of them are diagnosed with yellow fever. Now, if you don't know what yellow fever is, it's when a guy's temperature rises when he's next to an Asian woman. Because that's right. And Asian women are hot. But yeah, although it sounds like it's a lot of fun and it's great, yeah, but it does present challenges because there are cultural differences. And it's mostly dietary challenges. I mean, this is where, because like these guys are used to chicken and burgers and fries. Now you're having to eat noodles, fish, and other animals with tentacles. And if you are a vegan, now you're just eating seaweed. And you cannot get high of seaweed. And which I think is like the Asians' answer to fruit roll-ups. And something like that. And it doesn't end there, by the way. Now you have to use a chopstick. And I know you guys in LA and you guys all think you're like your chopstick ninjas and everything. But I was in Pahrump, Nevada. Oh, thank you very much. I was in Pahrump, Nevada about a month ago, and I was there having dinner with a bunch of friends of mine that are from there. And so we ordered. We went to the Asian restaurant. In small towns, you don't have, like, it's a non-denomination Asian restaurant. Anything that's Asian is at the Asian restaurant. So we went to the Asian restaurant and I ordered an Asian dish. So when the food came in, I went to get the chopsticks, which is normally a very non-eventful, like just you go pick up. But in this case, it was a different thing. It was the equivalent of when Arthur pulled the sword out of the stone to go slay the dragon. It was this kind of a dramatic moment. Like the music stopped, the children went under the table, and people were looking at me like in a very strange way. I said, "Well, how is he doing this? Did they expect him?" And I said, "No, get the cameras." And I'm trying to say is, next time you see a white guy, be a little bit nicer. They might be going through some shit. That's what I'm trying to say. That's where this was going, really. Okay, now that being said, I have to say, maybe the good job with the extra money and maybe the hot Asian girlfriend has made people change their way a little bit. It's like they just that access to different things that we don't have might make you into a bit of a snob. For example, like let's say New Yorkers, they didn't want to be a snob, but they just, when they leave New York, the way they talk about everything, it's like, you guys have no culture around here, and then we like the seasons. Like, what, you didn't look at a fucking brochure before you came here? Like, seriously. So I think in some ways, because you've lived in this, and you start doing different things, when you talk about them, you kind of maybe became a snob, but you don't even know it. So I came up with a list to help identify if you are a snob or not. For example, if you are talking about the books about an author and all the things they've received, that they've released in the last 5-6 years, well, you might sound a bit of a snob because most of us really are just watching some YouTube videos and between shopping and picking up the kids and going to work. So it sounds a little bit. If you are at a restaurant and sitting in front of your table and there's a bottle of wine and an empty glass, but you would not pour wine into your own glass because it's the health word, then you might be a bit of a snob. If you belong to the $1 a day shave club, guys, really, I spend 50 cents a month and just on cream. I don't like razors that maybe once a year. If your bed has a sleep number, if you are a vegan. And the other thing is, if you have one of those Alexa Echo thing, that thing you have at home where you talk to it, and say, play me a comedy, and then it would know your choice. I'll play like a comedy on TV, or it'll order things for you. And that's actually, this one I'm really not looking down at. I'm mostly jealous because I did buy one. I did buy one like 2 months ago. And the weird thing is, as soon as I bought it, like a week later, I got like a purple unicorn delivered to my house. So I was like, come on. A week later, I got like a dozen of best of Barbara Streisand CDs. Like, okay, there's something there. I'm starting to feel something. And then like 4 days later, I got the shake weight. You know that thing? What this guy's doing with the weight? It's like, so I had to investigate into this, and it took me like 5-6 weeks to figure out what was going on. Turns out, I talk in my sleep, and Alexa has been listening to me. So I was very happy that my identity was was virtual identity was not stolen, but I am starting to have doubts about my sexual identity. You know, so I really thought I wanted to actually film myself to see what else am I doing at night. Maybe I'm just fucking dudes all night. I don't know. But I decided against it. Actually, you know what? I do have a problem with home videos, though. You know, we've been making home videos for the last 50 years. And yeah, this back then it used to be like a big deal. It was a big deal. Yeah, you had this big camera, the Super 8s, and you had this big flashlight that emitted the heat of 1,000 suns. And you tried to take a picture of the kid before he blows his candles, but the heat melted the candles. And didn't get the hell. And yeah, like over 50 years, we really have very few videos to show for, other than maybe a couple of sex candle tapes in the 90s, and maybe that big one that started the riots in LA. Like, these are the only memorable ones. But really, I think the only thing that home videos are good for are, I think, just accidents and mishaps. Like, that's why film does very, very well. Like, nothing is more exciting than seeing grandma, you know, get on her bike, trips over the dog, falls flat face on the barbecue, burns her hair while the dog is humping. You know, and this stuff will go freaking viral in a second. Or even like, how about, you know, like failed proposals, preferably at a big venue. You know, I mean, because really, really honestly, who the hell wants to see another adult succeed?